Please welcome Bono.
In the words of Lee Scratch Perry, Chrissa Blackwell is a vampire. The whole room is full of freaks. Have you been to the toilet? On a good night, misfits, malcontents, second-story men, visionaries, pirates. On a bad night, it's just the music business. On a good night, like tonight, it's like a kind of outpatient facility. Look at yourselves. God makes music out of his mistakes. I know, I'm one of them. I'm not just talking about myself, though. Steven Tyler, Michael Jackson, Keith Richards, but more importantly, you guys with the wallets and SoundScan, you're the real freaks. Really. Now, I know some of you think you could run Coca-Cola, don't you? You couldn't. You couldn't. The best of you couldn't. Chris Blackwell couldn't. It's not banking. And even if it was, the best of you couldn't run a bank. You could rob a bank. You couldn't run a bank. For some, music is an excuse to make money. For the best, money is an excuse to make music. First time I saw Chris Blackwell, I was 18 years old. You two were playing in a pub in South London. I knew that he was unemployable. It was the height of punk rock. He was wearing flip-flops. There used to be a lot of them out there, like Chris Blackwell, like Ahmed Ertegun, like Berry Gordy, like Mo Austin, and all those other loose cannons that the multinational corporations have such trouble fitting into their business plans. Now, to people tuning into VH1 who are still asking the question, who is Chris Blackwell? He's the reason I'm here. But you know what? 10 or 12 madmen like Chris Blackwell are the reason we're all here. And if we want to stay here, we better remember that.
Chris Blackwell was born into Jamaica's aristocracy, but his heart belonged to the rhythms of its back roads and ghettos. Barely out of school, he formed Island Records and introduced the world to Jamaican music. From his first hit with Millie Small's My Boy Lollipop, to Jimmy Cliff, to Bob Marley and the Wailers. Blackwell also had an enormous impact on British rock. Island Records was home to Free, Traffic, Roxy Music, Cat Stevens, and King Crimson. In 1980, Blackwell put his company's muscle behind a young band from another small island, U2. A great record man, talent scout, and producer, Chris Blackwell was a kid who fell in love with music and then brought the music he loved to the whole world.
Mr. Blackwell, we'd like to induct you to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You deserve it because you built it. Thank you.
Well, for those of you who know me, they know that Jerry Wexler and Ahmed Ertegun. And Ahmed Ertegun has been my hero in this business, my mentor and my friend, and I really want to thank him very, very much. I also really want to thank Steve Winwood. Steve Winwood was really the cornerstone of Island Records. I signed him when he was 15 years old, 1964. And he's really a musical genius. And because he was with Ireland, all the other talent really wanted to be with Ireland. So he was really a cornerstone for us, and I really want to thank him. I also very much want to thank my country. I want to thank Jamaica, because Jamaica's really been the sort of underlying strength for me all these years. And it also happens to have produced the artist who was the first hit I ever had, Millie Small. It also produced Jimmy Cliff, who was the first artist I had on a soundtrack and a film. And also, of course, it produced Bob Marley. So that's the longest speech I've ever made. I just want to thank you all very much.